Hey guys, welcome back. For this video, I'll be using an AI voice changer so y'all don't have to read. Currently, there are 40 kaijus in Kaiju universe. And today, I'll be giving you the 2025 tier list on the KU kaijus, ranking from worst to best. Special thanks to these guys for helping make the tier list. Similar to Cole's tier lists too, I'll be breaking them up into tiers, those tiers being D, C, B, A, and S. But anyway, without further ado, let's start with... At the very bottom ranks Voltidra. Really, the only good thing about Voltidra is that he has a really high jump. Other than that, he gets a very small buff underwater, and he eats through charge like that. Overall, Volt is not good. If you do wind up getting it to level 100, though, the only cool thing about him is he gets Rainbow Mode, which is similar to your V utility, but just constant. At number 38, Akatsumi. While Akatsumi is a pretty solid kaiju, there are far better kaiju than it. With this, half the time you need to rely on glitches to win. This isn't how a kaiju should be used. While Typhorn can stay in fights much longer thanks to its healing ability, it isn't that good on land. This kaiju stands a much better chance in the water than it does on land. Its V utility buff does give you a 30% buff. However, it's not that effective if you were to use it on land compared to in the water. His status would be significantly better if his hitboxes weren't so small, its V utility was better, and really if it got a remodel, because its playstyle isn't up to par with today's meta. Currently, thanks to all of these, his status is practically unplayable. Oroth does have some good DPS, but it gets demolished and ranks this low simply because it can't stay in fights long enough to win them. While Amorpes is still a pretty solid kaiju, it ranks this low because it doesn't live up to standard with the rest of the KU roster. Vudon isn't that good of a kaiju anymore. It's actually the worst flyer in the game. Similar to Amorpes, though, it ranks this low because it doesn't live up to the standard of modern-day KU. Sakura is your typical early-game kaiju. It stands somewhat of a chance against easier kaiju, but isn't good against better kaiju. Karkanos is another okay kaiju, but to use it correctly, you really need to know what you're doing. Karkanos is a tough kaiju to learn and isn't easy to use. Lorgath, like Sakura, is another early-game, mid-game kaiju. It's not meant to be that good, but it is pretty solid. Sithios is actually a really great kaiju. Only if you water camp, though. On land, this kaiju is okay. Folair can be a good kaiju. However, to make it good, you have to stall almost all of your fights and make them last a lot longer than they have to. Folair's attacks also take up quite a bit of charge, so you need to be mindful of that. Folair also isn't a tanky kaiju, so you can't bull rush and expect to win. You have to, as I said, stall. The oldest kaiju in the entire game, Meleagris, while being a quick kaiju that can deal some decent damage, is a kaiju you need to be strategic with. You can't rush in and expect to win. Ending D tier is Malasive. Flyers aren't the meta anymore, so most of them rank in the middle of the pack. Starting off C tier is Goliath. Goliath is a really tanky kaiju with powerful attacks. With its healing ability, this kaiju is really good. Fei Mao over-relies on its first two attacks. Simply spamming those two won't be enough to win fights. You'll need to use your other attacks, which aren't really that helpful. Abel Cross is generally much better than some people might expect. This kaiju is very player-friendly. Abel Cross still has extended hitboxes, a pretty high jump, decently strong attacks, making this kaiju pretty solid. Not to mention you're able to bury yourself underground to hide from attacks like beams and pulses using your V utility. You also deal damage while underground. So this makes Abel Cross a real threat. The Nutcracker is a pretty solid kaiju. Thanks to its healing ability, you can stay in fights longer. This kaiju also has some long-ranged attacks, making it easier and better for you to kill people. Kumora and Christmas Kumora are the same exact kaiju, which is why they're both in number 21. Both of these kaijus are currently missing one working attack, but other than that, both have generally really good health and solid damage, allowing them to survive longer and stand a chance. At the halfway point of the tier list is Glacialith. Glacialith, like Goliath, is a tanky kaiju, but Glacialith takes the higher spot because of the inflictable status effects and larger range. If you're using Saberyu correctly, sidestepping is the best way to survive. This kaiju also has the ability to deal more damage with its sword. This kaiju is deadly underwater. Batuchara is a surprisingly good kaiju. With its ability to glide, plus its really strong beam, this kaiju is pretty good and can do some serious damage. Ending D tier, Karamach can cause some serious problems. With Karamach's ability to range almost every kaiju on land, and since it has the ability to fly, being fast and able to chip away at you makes this kaiju a real issue. Beginning B tier is Ramthor. Ramthor is a really strong kaiju with its sonic roar, grounding abilities, and its ability to infect kaijus and deal more damage once it explodes makes this kaiju really good. Moonlight Beast is a kaiju that has an ability to spam some of its attacks and chip away at your HP before entering its second form and dealing even more damage, making this kaiju really shifty. Zaratan is a surprisingly tanky kaiju. Coupled with its high-powered attacks, its blocking ability, and its dash attack, this kaiju is one of the better and most tough kaiju in-game. Mothman, even while small, is a very good kaiju that can absorb damage, shoot projectiles, make enemies weaker, and deal a massive amount of damage in a short time frame. This kaiju can also fly, allowing it to last longer in harder fights, or if you don't want to use the ground game. The second-to-last flying kaiju in this tier list, Nukhtara, is a fast, versatile kaiju with a lot of range and a projectile, allowing it to survive a lot longer. Alongside its wonky hurtboxes, this kaiju is an issue when a good player uses it. Just outside the top 10, Kageryu is a decent kaiju with a handful of speedy attacks, long-ranged attacks, and an ability to take less damage through rock armor. This kaiju can also escape underground if need be. Entering the top 10, Aglacius has a unique ability to hold its beam and pulse to make them last longer and to deal more damage, like Meyer Goji from pre-DMCA KU. With its strong melee attacks and leap, this kaiju is pretty good. At number 9, Garmadra is a solid, tanky kaiju. The main reason this kaiju is this high is mostly because of its pulse, as it deals a lot of damage. Overall, this kaiju is solid. At number 8, finishing off B tier, is Volkaizen. You might not think this kaiju is great, but it is. This kaiju has a lot of good things, but its best feature is its broken V utility that gives you more HP and makes you invincible for a few seconds. Even after you use your V utility, or after you transform into a stronger form, you're given a buff and you're able to use stronger attacks. Overall, this kaiju is pretty broke. Vargoth is still, even after years of being in KU, one of the best kaijus in the game. This kaiju has very strong attacks, a lot of HP, and a V utility that deals damage over time. Rhaegar is simply a really great kaiju. It has strong attacks, has quite a bit of health, and is overall great. Entering the top 5, Thermonuclear Incineros, unlike its counterpart, Incineros has a really strong pulse, able to wipe most of your health. Its other attacks are okay, and it has okay health. The main that makes this kaiju good, though, is, as I've said, its pulse. This kaiju is just better than most of the roster. With its strong attacks and lots of ranged attacks, this kaiju is one of the best. At number 3, Zirion is the best flying kaiju in-game. It has speeds equivalent to Mega Guirus from pre-DMCA KU and has a beam and projectiles that allow it to consistently win. If you're dealing with a skilled player, good luck. At number 2, Stormlord Morkage has a plethora of great attacks, ranging from really large AoE attacks to a spammable A1. This kaiju is overall top tier. This is also a Game Pass kaiju, so it's technically free. Finally, at the top spot is Morkage. Morkage has a lot great attacks, most of which are ranged attacks. But its best attack is its railgun attack, usable through its V utility. Using it deals a ton of damage.